Hello and welcome back to the channel. So I thought I'd just do a quick one today, just a bit of an update on the old Corrado VR6 because you haven't seen it recently. So yeah, it went off to Martin the mechanic to have its engine work done, which is brilliant because now it's better than ever in that respect. Although typical of BWs of this sort of age, just before it went, it started having various electrical gremlins, which I'll show you in a second. So yeah, it's had a fair chunk of money on it, spent on it, but unfortunately that's not the end of it because it's decided it wants more attention. So at the moment there's the Edition 38 Volkswagen show coming up in Northamptonshire next weekend, so I'd started sort of stripping down to diagnose, but I want to take it to that show, so it was hastily sort of put back together and bodged really. So welcome back, apologies for sort of cutting there. I just had a eBay collection to deal with, so that's done. Yeah, so as I was sort of saying, the Corrado's back after having thousands something on it, but yeah, it decided that wasn't quite enough attention. So part of the problem, if we pan around here and if I open the door, I won't demonstrate it because the end result results in blown fuses, but we had this door card off because what we basically found out is when you use the driver's window switch or the full closure system on the remote central locking, it would blow the fuse that's buried sort of well underneath here in this mess of wires that will be tidied up eventually. So we sort of put it down to the fact and traced it down to the fact that this driver's electric window motor is actually seized, so it's shorting out, and as soon as you press the full closure or the windows switch for the driver's side, is blowing the whole the fuse that controls all the electric windows, the boot locking and everything. So I can get another window mech complete with a motor in it, but it's £100, which in the cost of things at the moment is just not doable. So the plan's going to be, when I take him off the road for the winter, is to strip this door down. We've already started drilling out, because they're in pot rivets, the window mechanism, and take out the motor and see if we can de-seize it. If not, then I will have to relent and buy a used one that I've seen on eBay. But yeah, so that's going to be the plan. But as I say, we started to strip it down, then the hot weather just meant it was far too hot to be working on cars. So the show's coming up, so sort of had to quickly put that back together. So that's electrical fault 1. So it has come back so now from Martin the mechanic, but you'll see in here the other one if I put the ignition on, as you could probably hear already, and I'll quickly pan round to the front. As you can hear, that's on ignition and the engine fan is very much on. So I'll quickly turn it off because it's on ignition and we don't want to flatten the battery. So sorry for the shaky camera work, turn that back off. So yeah, the engine fan, even though the car's not running and is not at temperature, is permanently on. We thought it was a sensor originally, because this has multiple ones that go into various places that control the temperature. So you've got them on the radiator down there and also on the head, but testing it doesn't seem to be. What we think it is actually a break in the wiring loom, which is down here. You probably can't see for the mess of pipes, but it runs along where the battery sits. And because they kind of didn't think about the design when shoehorning a 2.9 into this, the battery's very, very close, even though it's tiny, and sits on this wiring. So we think at some point, taking the battery in and out, it's cut or sort of pinched a wire too close into this loom that controls the fan. So the plan is going to be to sort of take that out and strip it back, see if we can find the break in the wiring loom. And the thing that I'm hoping we don't have to do is replace the wiring loom, because again, expensive. But yeah, it doesn't provide a great deal of problem in that at least it's on, and so it's cooling the engine all the time. It really does affect fuel economy because it's not getting up to temperature fully. So this thing used to do about 35 on a run, but it's actually going down to sort of early 30s now, so it takes quite a chunk off because it's never warming up fully to operating temperature. But what actually happened in the midst of us playing around with it last time and trying to figure out where it had gone wrong is that the wires that went into the temperature switch broke off. So it meant I had no fan at all, obviously not ideal and not very good to run it. So we cut back the wires and put a new connector on it earlier. But what we've had to do, and people will scream and probably holler at the video, because the switch decided to actually fail, the one that I thought had failed but hadn't, which sits in the water housing. So rather than take it out because you lose all the coolant and the fact that it's due to go to the show next week, we've actually, and feel free to scream at the video now, had to connect it but tape the sensor onto here. This is the one that actually sits in the housing, so it is at the moment just taped here, so it allows the fan to come on all the time. But yeah, it's not ideal, it's a bodge, and there's probably people screaming at their video now that there's various reasons you shouldn't do that, but it's just an end to a means. It's going to go to that show, which is only sort of 15-20 miles away. I might take it to work one day, but then it's just going to go for an MOT, which hopefully it'll pass, and then it's just going to be sawned over winter and off the road. So at that point we can start diagnosing and fit the sensor properly. But yeah, never assume, you know, once you've lavished some attention and a fair chunk of money on a car, that all is going to be hunky-dory and it's going to be very happy. The Tomcat that you can see hiding behind there's also another example of that. But we'll speak to Ryan and get an idea of what's happened with that now it's back on the road. But yeah, I just thought I'd do a quick update on Corrado the Corrado, because you haven't seen one since he's come back. So yeah, swings and roundabouts with old cars. Anyway, I shall sign off there for now. I might do, hopefully, if I could get you on some video of the VW Edition 38 show next week. This is a good one. But yeah, if you do like what you're seeing, do like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.